For years now, I have been acutely aware of many of the disadvantages being coded as a woman offers me in my society. But recently, I've started to get very upset because every time I go out to take my walks, which I used to keep fit, Nigerian men/men must find a reason to talk to me just because I'm alone. And it's so irritating because I've wondered why this obviously psychologically damaging and potentially physically damaging thing called catcalling or sexual harassment is just accepted in our society. Hi guys, and welcome to Kuffy Eyo Honest Weirdo. I know I have not been the best YouTuber and I've been away for like 5 months. That's crazy. But you guys stuck by me. Like my subscriber count even grew a little while I was away. And I just want to say thank you. But here is my explanation. I did not need YouTube to cope because school went out based on ASU strike. I'm in a public school, and so I did not have to deal with the depression of studying medicine by finding a creative outlet through YouTube. Also, I got my creative outlet somewhere else. Like I was kind of I am now. But let's talk about the period I was away. I was in the music scene and it was so fulfilling, and I did not need to do YouTube to satisfy myself. But I am back, please. I am back and I'm so happy that you guys are here right now. If you're new, welcome, 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 welcome. On this channel, I talk about philosophy and psychology. Before I used to do some other kind of videos, but I've decided to niche because I don't feel like being all over the place anymore with YouTube. Let me just focus on dealing with especially social issues and mental health issues. So if those are the kind of content you like and you're new, remember to subscribe. And I'm about to get into the video, but just go and like the video now before we continue. I'm waiting for you. Have you liked it? Good. Anyways, have you guys seen this sunlight? Oh my god. I have tried to record this video three times before now, and it kept like I don't even want to go into it. But basically I am happy because now it has delayed me to the point that the sun has finally come out, and oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my lord. Can you see the skin? Anyway, back to being serious. We are talking about men and why they're a problem. Well, okay, don't worry, we are not talking about that. What are we doing? I can recall periods in the past where probably there's a discourse on Twitter and they're like telling men to step in when they see women being harassed, and I was like, why do they need to step in? Like we can handle our own stuff by ourselves. We don't need their help. And it was kind of reinforcing this what I think is a sexist stereotype that men are protectors, and also implying that women are weak and can't fend for themselves. Because most times when those discourses are triggered by videos, the footage normally carries like a scenario where a woman is harassing the other people around, and it's not just men dead not doing anything, it's also women. But as time went on and I started getting tired of the stuff, so I started thinking about it deeply. I realized that actually the responsibility should fall in the hands of men to stop it because they are the ones doing the thing. One of the most well-known and common reactions to that men have for women when they are complaining about men being predators or threatening or harassers is by saying that not all men are predators, the other thing, and harassers. And I'm like, she never said it was all men, she just said men. Why are you needing to clarify that it is not all men? Because nobody thinks it's all men. We just know it's men because it's hardly ever women doing such stuff like harassing people when they are walking on the road. And as a woman or even a man, if it is more important to your safety when you're walking alone, especially if it is dark, to register all men or all groups of men as potential threats. And you're not going to have to do that if it's a woman, because nobody really thinks of women like as about to do something violent physically or maybe rob you or something. I don't think men or women have that idea of women. So you don't need to feel that this is a threat. Tighten your hand, walk fast. when you see a woman, even if it's dark. In fact, I even think that you feel safe. Like if I'm on the road and I am creeped out by the number of men on the road and I see maybe a few women or even just one woman, I suddenly feel safer because her presence is safety. Sorry. And I think this not all men response like just exposes the in-group tendency to defend your group from an accusation leveled by an outsider, even when this accusation is justified. And men know it's justified because if it wasn't, their response would be, we don't do that, instead of an unnecessary clarification that it is not all men. As if the woman speaking isn't aware of such an obvious fact. Men know that they are threats, physically and sexually. They know. And this understanding that they have facilitates the blaming of survivors of abuse. Like maybe a woman went to visit her friend in his house or a date in a hotel room, and something happened to her, something terrible, the R word itself, and she now comes to complain. And instead of people, but I'm saying men now because we are talking about men knowing that they are threats, men, instead of men to understand with her or empathize, they will be like, why would you go and see a guy in his room, all this kind of stuff, like why would you go out at night, all the, why would you leave your drink unattended to? Because they know that men are threats, and they actually believe that all men are threats. Because another instance is, let's use this another sexual one, but this one, for them, they think all gay men are attracted to them, or will make, yes, will force sexual advances on them without, like, when they don't want to, because they do believe that men do stuff like that, but they just don't want to hear it from a woman because you're outside of their group. Not that gay men are like that, it's just homophobia, but I'm just trying to say that the men, they think that. And men don't actually see contradiction in their simultaneous protest against women, labeling them as predators, and their own belief that men are predators. But before you, because I'm hoping that you're a man watching this right now, but obviously you're a lady, hi. But if you're a man watching this, please don't feel attacked. I don't think that like being defensive about your group is a men thing. I think it's a group thing. For example, I know Nigerians always call Nigeria trenches of the world. It's broke, it's corrupt, too much poverty, the people are horrible, blah 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 blah. Nigerians say all these things about Nigeria, but let a foreigner, especially a Ghanaian, let a foreigner say something even quarter of the kind of abuses Nigerians haul at Nigeria, and all hell is going to be loose. So all hell is going to be let loose on that, because probably Twitter that all those drags used to start. So it's not. I know. It's not you. It's them. It's us, human beings. We do it. But I'm just talking about this one because let's be aware of what we are doing and try and do better. If at all we want to do better, or maybe we don't want to do better, maybe we just want to keep saying not all men, so we will not take accountability for what men do. Maybe that is what we want to do. But if you actually want to do something, okay, I'm talking to you. Next chapter. I think that going about your business as a man, when you see or hear that a woman is being harassed, makes it kind of complicit, though, because since you're not all men kind of man, that behavior is that behavior is deplorable, and you don't even want to be lumped in the group with these people that do this kind of thing. But for some reason, you choose to fight the victims or survivors of sexual harassment when they are complaining instead of empathizing with them about it. But you choose to shut them down because they are talking about men. Like you focus on generalization, how generalization is so bad when someone has gone through something so horrible, constantly goes through something that is so scary and so annoying and irritating. But it doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to you. And this reaction is worsened by the fact that if a man does something about women being sexually harassed, it's actually going to be more effective than a woman doing it, because the call is coming from within the house. Like, a man is more likely to listen to his fellow man than a woman that he's harassing, or any other woman, because he's the type that harasses. Why would he even care? Now, thinking about this dynamic of how men don't want to actually reproach men made me realize that as much as women are threatened by men are also threatened by other men. And this is a huge problem because while they might be motivated to fill in their patriarchal role of protecting women obviously protecting them from other men. But let's not talk about that for today. Okay, and because men are less likely to help a woman because they are afraid of the other man, made me start thinking about dominance hierarchies in our society. Besides the awkward interaction of approaching a straight man to warn him about harassing a woman, there is also the fear this protector man has for the threatening man. Unlike women who are rarely apprehensive of physical violence from other women, men know that their intense emotions usually get expressed physically. Like, nobody's walking down the road being scared of women, but everybody's walking down the road being scared of men. So even if men want to help, they are just as threatened by other men as women are threatened by men. And it made me start thinking about the patriarchy. I know many of people don't believe in the patriarchy. Many of you men. And many of you women don't even believe in the fact that men are oppressed. But I also believe that, because we can see that men also have to stay in rigid sex roles, and there are so many expectations they have from society as a whole. Like, I even think it's kind of misandry, because many of these things hurt men in many ways. Yeah, I understand that misogyny is worse because it means that femininity and women are seen as inferior to men. But that doesn't deny the fact that there's misandry and it is enforced, but it is by other men. It's mostly enforced by other men. But I'm getting to that. Hold on. Hold on. Sex roles are not the only issue that men deal with in the patriarchy. They also have to battle other men. Because patriarchy is not a system where all men are on top. No, there are many men that I am obviously better than, but most of the people on top are men, and that is what a male-dominated society is. Doesn't mean all males dominate society. It means almost everybody, or everybody, just recently because of feminism that women started dominating society, but almost everybody dominating society is a man, and this ruling class of men are a tiny fraction of the group. And if you want to look at the whole class as a whole and see the way they oppress women, you can understand it as that oppressing women for men is actually a consolation prize, because most of the men in the world do not attain the promises of masculinity that they have been told was their best rights. For example, they don't have the physical prowess, they don't have the material abundance, and they don't have numerous sexual conquest. That is for sure. Even though they are not alpha, at least they are not women. It is the one default privilege of being born male, and the fact that the average man is able to deal a stronger blow than the average woman allows this to be the case. But as society is evolving and modernity is taking hold of everything we do, the links between physical power and overall power is waning, and that has meant that women now have a lot of power, and this gain of power by women has led to this growing crisis of masculinity, i.e. incels. Oh my god, don't they understand that in the good old days they still wouldn't have gotten women because there was polygamy in most places. One man that is powerful and rich and everything will get all the women, and you will not still get the women. But then at least the women will belong to a man. But now they don't like it because we are not properties of other men that they cannot do anything to because of the men. But let's not go into that. That can be another topic. In fact, if I'm saying anything and you feel like I should talk more about it, like this inceldom that is growing, especially on Twitter, let me know. Let me know what you want to hear me talk about, because I don't want to make this video too long. But it's already getting cut long still. Anyway, now thinking about this whole dynamic between men and women now made me start thinking about the root issue, because I feel like it's not just gender. It's not a gender thing. It's more of our general ideology that coercion, exploitation, and violence from a group or an individual is acceptable if there is no one to stop them from doing so. And what I mean acceptable means it is what it's going to be if there's nobody to stop them from doing so. And like, it explains the way we treat children. It explains the way we treat like our own children, or not just general children. Our own children are one of the people that suffer most in this world are children. But that's another thing we could talk about. There's another thing I want to talk about, oppression of children. But let me know if you want to hear that. And the way we treat animals And like, it's provided you have the final hand, you can wield it anyhow you like. Might makes right. It's just common sense, right? It's just what happens. It just is. Even if we as individuals or collective were to coalesce to stop and suppress the current ruling classes, like in different areas like gender and capital and all of that, we expect the individuals or the collective to do so by coercion and violence, like to overthrow the current people. We expect that they use force, like they use power to get them out of there. Like, the oppressed class may be weak now, but as our political power grows, we can get rid of these people that are hurting us. But then we must ask ourselves, how do we actually intend to enforce our vision of order? And when you think about it, what really distinguishes the oppressor and the oppressed is not morals, it's not, like, I don't know, it's not anything. It's just simply put the fact that power is with the oppressor and power is with the oppressed. And according to our current understanding of power, we see it as a capacity to shape the environment and the people we want into the way we want. Like, this definition inherently carries within it a necessity to dominate others. So now I have fallen down the rabbit hole of my thoughts, and I hope you followed me with while I was going down. But I have still hit the ground. I have dug a deep hole, and now I am stuck. Is the human condition really this bleak? What really is the point of evolutionary struggle if it's just going to mean power changing hands from one group to the other, and it's oppressive power changing hands from one group to the other? Because do we really want a world where there's no oppression, where there's nobody forcing another person to do what they want, or we just want it for ourselves and our group, like for our own selfish interests? Is that what we really want? And I've been thinking about it because at first the only thing I could think of to stop this thing was getting rid of human beings. Like, everybody knows that I don't believe in having children, and I even made a video about it. You can check it out. But like, is that the only option? And then I now went over the draft when I was like editing, and something came to mind which I've also talked about in my video about love, which I've linked. I talked about like oneness. Like, even in my spirituality video I talked about it, because when people meditate or take certain drugs, they feel that this oneness, and I believe that this oneness, we can still feel it. Like, it is there, it's possible, because we do feel it in extreme scenarios. So how do we get to it? Because we create the ego, we create the self. I can link in psychology for you to read psychoanalytical theory talking about it. Then I am aware that this idea is very idealistic. We're probably not going to be able to do that anytime soon. So what can we do in the meantime? Like, what do you think? You believe that we are going to be like this forever? And you believe, like, that is really nihilistic, to be honest. And I refuse to hold such an essentialist view of human beings, because I feel like we have also had very problematic views and problematic ideologies before that made stuff like slavery normal and very obvious caste systems within society. But as time went on, we realized that no, we are kind of all really similar, and there's something that unites us, and it's called being humans. But I even want animals to be included. So I feel like we need to get to the point where we know that if we are all made of atoms, like, this thing is fake. We are all the same. We are all part of Mother Earth. We are all part of the universe. We are all one. But even I'm not obviously evolved to that point. But yeah, that's the idea. It's just, has it triggered anything in your mind? Do you feel like sharing this video to somebody? Share it, because if this video doesn't get up to 200 or 1,000 views, I'm not going to be doing this YouTube shit anymore. So help me get these videos to people that you think might enjoy it. I'm basically signing out here because I don't really think there's much to say. I just wish that you could add to the conversation. Let's just know what we can do about the issue. So leave a comment if you have any suggestions, because like my friend had one, so he said that with technology we don't have to have conflicts about like land, because we can get fertilizer and stuff. But also with technology we have conflicts because we are more. So I don't know about that answer, because it has its negative side and positive side, but I don't want to go into it now because this video is a little long. But yes, it's a video, it's supposed to be long. You're not supposed to look at the timestamp, but thank you for sticking around either way. For the new subscribers, this is what you get on this channel. Just vibes like this. It's not vibes, it's brands, it's intellectual brands. We are sophisticated individuals. We are honestly weirdos. So anyway, um, thank you and goodbye.